Hi friends, host Eric here, talking with famous people, and I would like to talk a little bit about men, women, feminists, red pill, blue pill, that whole manner of thing. So, the reason I want to make this video begins with a comment that I got the other day on a MGTOW video I made a long time ago, or whatever you want to call it. Male suicide rates are 5 times higher than women. Do you think loneliness drove them over the edge, or maybe it was the no-fault divorce system? If you're lucky, you might just be protested by feminists and social justice warriors who call you a rapist, a woman hater, patriarchy, the usual round of public shaming and humiliation. The unlucky ones can expect to be assaulted. I don't want to read all that comment. It's kind of nasty in certain ways, but then I also I saw this on Facebook. Involuntary celibate song. Women don't owe you sex. We don't owe you our time, our attention, and certainly not our bodies. You're not entitled to us. You're not involuntarily celibate. You just prioritize your fragile narcissistic masculinity of women's autonomy. That pisses me off too. So, it's not true that some people aren't involuntarily celibate. Some people are. I've been there, and it's not as simple as men not respecting women's autonomy and shit like that either. So I absolutely reject sort of militant feminism, and I reject divisiveness entirely. That's the point. I reject divisiveness. The issue here is, that's the issue. Organizations like MGTOW and feminist organizations and the patriarchy and all that other bullshit, it's a choice each of us makes. Are we going to understand the world through a divisive frame or through a resolving style frame? Everybody goes through, probably, I don't know if everybody does this, but a lot of people go through a period of life at least where they get off on hating certain groups. It's satisfying because it seems to make the world into a battle that you could win. The good guys could win this if we could just get rid of those goddamn Republicans. We could just get rid of those goddamn Democrats, or we could just get rid of those goddamn feminists. Or the problem with the world being summed up by, wow, the problem with America is the men have gotten weak because of this matriarchal My response to the guy, and his response, I want to go into a little bit. You sound very angry. You aren't wrong that fucked up shit happens. You are wrong not to accept that it's your experience, not women's society and the way things are. You got fucked over, and so do a lot of other men. So you feel like you pinned down the enemy and can righteously voice a bunch of mindless anti-woman venom, but you're just poisoning your own one chance of living well. I'm so happy in life because my life is filled with people I value: friends, parents, fiancé, students, my biological child, etc. Half of them are female, and none of them are defined by that fact. He says I shouldn't have been so salty about it. I just whined the other day about how nobody debates or exchanges ideas anymore. They just scream at each other as if insight and perspective are terrible things we should avoid like the plague. I apologize. You're right and wrong about me. Anyway, it makes me sad. It makes me genuinely sad that people suffer so much. And, wanting justice for suffering is perfectly understandable. So, to those snotty ass women who, it's like some hot chick who just thinks it's a political thing. Like, you are not entitled to our bodies. Blah, blah, blah. Nobody's saying that, bitch. Yeah, some people are involuntarily celibate. The fact that you're not one of them is obvious. So, the thing is, if we're gonna find a group of people that we want to shit on, blame, or whatever, I would say the group of people should be those willing to justify means with ends, those willing to trample on others to get what they think is the right vision manifest. That's a group of people we ought to condemn. But most of us, at least some of the time, represent that group of people. And I guess that's the takeaway is we can't meaningfully reduce individuals to members of their group in any way. So it's like some people get really offended by my denial of the existence of race and my insistence that any racial justifications for anything or discussion of like, oh, well, that's racist, is itself just, it's saying, oh, you want to continue this stupid, meaningless thing that happens? Okay, let's do it. Remember that race is never a justification for anything at all. People use it as one in order to avoid the real issue of transgression against an individual by another individual. The criminal's justification for violating the rights of some other individual doesn't matter. It's irrelevant. And if we pretend as though something like racist police exist, then we're missing the point entirely, right? We're saying, oh, well, we need to solve this problem, making the police less racist. No. We need to address these crimes as we do any other. Arrest the perpetrator, be it the police officers involved, usually, and put them in jail for their crimes of transgression against another individual. That's it, period. No worrying about what's going on in their head. It doesn't matter. Same thing with women and men. There's this obsession with, amongst the group of people that are like anti-women or anti-feminist or, pro-man, whatever. I don't even know what their fucking position is. It's like men going their own way, so you can be happy without any chicks around, right? Or without being in a relationship, I guess. I have no objection to the idea that individuals who remain single ought make and embrace a worldview that says this is preferable to the alternative, since it's the alternative I'm preferring one way or the other. But to the extent that it's to the extent that it's obsessed with inherency, as we say in debate, where it's not really talking about how an individual becomes happy or fulfilled as an individual outside of a relationship. It seems to spend much of its time talking about why it's important to do that. Namely, that women are bad, that the system's fucked up with the divorce laws and stuff like that. I mean, I agree about that completely, by the way. The system is fucked up with the divorce and the child care laws and stuff. I did never experience that. My experience was I got the better end of all of my divorce. I didn't have to pay anything. I got the kid and I got everything I wanted and fuck her, But the reason was simple. it was because I was in the right. So, but the other reason is this. My second wife said to me at our point of our divorce that she wanted X amount of dollars per month from me. And I'm like, okay, well, why do you deserve that? In other words, what legitimate moral claim do you have upon it? And she failed to come up with anything adequate. So I said, well, then you're not going to get it, obviously. And she said, well, I'm going to take you to court. And I said, the hell you are. We both agreed here that you don't have any moral claim to it. So that would just be engaging in wickedness. If you want to engage in wickedness and attack me in that fashion, then I'm going all out motherfucking war. I will not get a lawyer. I will fight this myself, tooth and nail. I will attack in every possible way I can and throw every resource and every ounce of myself into destroying you to every extent I possibly can because you've engaged in an unjust attack on me. I will not tolerate it. And I think she took the video that I made expressing all that shit and why it would be wicked of her to do that. And I think she took it to the lawyer, and the lawyer said, fuck this. Because she came back and said, okay, fine, never mind. I won't take any money. So, that was my experience. Obviously, if it had been gone some other way, it would have been a different experience for me. I probably would have been more concerned about the issue. But I understand that for a lot of men, it doesn't play out like that. And that there's good cause to complain. I'm also of the school that says women are much more likely to cheat than men are because, of course, it's much easier for them to cheat. Very easy for a chick to get laid. And maybe if you're a chick and you got with some sort of Chad, as they say, then it might be easy for him to get laid as well. But probably less easy still. Because, all a chick has to do is send a text to some dude that she knows is down. Says, hey, and she can have that appointment set 15 minutes from now. It's not that difficult. So I think that men have reason to complain about that as well. I don't think there's any reason to blame women at any point, though. We can't blame women for being women, which includes the fact that they're desirable to men to have sex with. And just as we can't blame men for being men. It doesn't make any sense to do either of those things. And it doesn't make any sense to define individuals as necessarily an expression of their gender. Lastly, let me just say that I spent a fair amount of my life being what one might deem not reproductively viable. I didn't understand how to get chicks. I was probably more reproductively viable than I thought, but I was puss shy, you might say. And uncertain. I'm just, SE, extrovert sensing is my insecurity function. So that's something I did naturally, was slay the puss or anything, right? And after college, between college and, 26 or so, I had a 4-year period where I never touched a woman. But the thing is, during that time, I really had a choice. I could get bitter, or I could get non-threatening. And I preferred the latter because it allowed me to have women in my life. And I had a lot of women in my life. A lot of friends and, chicks that would come around and stuff like that. If I had had any confidence, I would have probably been doing quite well. But at certain points there. You know, I was living in a house where we had a lot of parties and stuff. It's strange to imagine that I would have, during that period of time, been completely celibate, and involuntarily so. But I was. Now, you might say, well, it wasn't really involuntarily, Eric. You could have manned up and mad. Well, I really couldn't have at the time. I just didn't have it in me. I didn't understand enough. And I was scared. So, that's... A lot of people are like that. And for people like that, you see some shit like that on Facebook, it's infuriating. It's like... It's a very first world privilege kind of thing. But, for a hot chick who can get laid just by going, you got no business talking to people who don't have it so easy about shit like that. Anyway, I guess that's about it for this video. Oh, well, yeah, it's important to have women in your life. And it's important to not be consumed with some externalized vision about the world. Women are like this, the system's fucked up, feminists are stupid, whatever. It's a waste of your energy. And such groups exist, sort of. Like, there are social justice warriors. But they're just a fucking joke. I mean... It's like, I'm not going to get upset about a joke. And they absolutely are. You say, well, but they're a genuine threat. They blah, blah, blah. No, they're not. Terrible ideas never win without oppression, That's what we need to oppose. We need to oppose people who justify the means with the ends. Because to the extent that an ideological fervor is dangerous, it's dangerous in that we accept its justifications as legitimizing things that aren't legitimate. And that's universal to all ideological fervors. None of those ideologies justify things that are unjust. And to the extent that they do, they're wrong and bad. To the extent that they succeed in doing so, and in other words, manifesting in the real world, then they become a real threat. Obviously, we oppose stupid laws that do stupid shit, but that's not specific to stupid liberal laws or stupid conservative laws. That distinction doesn't really exist, The only distinction exists between those who justify unjust violence and those who don't. It's a clear, bright line. So yeah, don't red pill or blue pill. It's stupid. The notion that you should that going out and slaying the puss is a viable option is insane. It really can't. It's not. I mean, it might work for a while when you're young, and you might kind of enjoy it, I guess. I don't know, but you don't want to end up a scumbag, and ultimately somebody who's moving around all the time looking to slay the puss and looking to get the outcome. They're using other people as means to an end. It's going to cause a lot of damage. Little bits of damage here and there, or big bits of damage here and there, or, it's going to cause damage. It would be nice if the world were just everyone were, I don't know if it would be nice or not, but relationships, I'll have to quote Jordan Peterson here. Why would you want to just be a casual partner? If that's the greatest aspiration you have in terms of your relationship with a woman, you're never going to attain much depth of human experience, frankly. I don't think. We've got to bond with somebody more deeply than that. Not just use them to shoot our load into. Although, I understand sometimes that's what's got to be done. I'm not saying that it's never a good idea to just somehow go out and get laid and call it a day after that. But sometimes it is. But ultimately, we're meant to bond with some specific other individual, I think. And to enable the unlocking of multiple parts of both parties, women are individuals first, just as are men. And the vast majority of women that any man deals with over the course of his life are not going to have sex with them, right? The vast majority of women that any individual male deals with over the course of his life, he won't want to have sex with. Well, at least the majority, let's say. So, let's just treat each other like people, individual people, as best we can, and put away our ideological group damning, if we can. And lastly, remember, I do have a typing service if you'd like to be typed by me. You can have a 1-hour typing session. I will ask you questions, talk with you about your life, who you are, etc., and give you a analysis of your type and cognitive function, interplays, and stuff like that. And that's available at the store, TwFPcollectibles.com. And also my book's available there for reading purposes. It's called Exciting Tables and Words about Human Personality. It's a compilation of standalone documents that I've used for various videos and such. Thanks again for watching, and don't forget to eat plenty of cheese.